Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to stop on here and let us have a nice little discussion about the things going on in the Jamaican camp at this year's World Championship of Athletics. So there are a number of issues apparently taking place there. Dramatic, interesting things we need to discuss. I want to know what you think about them, and so I'm just going to lay them on the table. Just let you know what I think about them, and then you can tell me what you think. So you know that Jamaica has some of the best jumpers in the world currently, male and female. From Jaden Hibbert to the silver and bronze medalists in the long jump men to the triple jump women. Jamaica has 2 women into the finals of the triple jump, and these are well-ranked people. However, there's news that Jamaica brought no jumps coach to the World Championship. That is kind of unheard of, that our throws coach is now the jumps coach at the championship when other countries bring their jumps coach. It's not like Jamaica doesn't have anybody who knows the jumps, who coached the jumps, who's qualified to coach the jumps at the World Championship. It's not that. It's that there's politics, as with everything else in the Jamaican team. And let me add, all the teams all over the world. It's just that politics has taken precedence over what's right and what's proper. So currently, I heard Kerry Lee Ricketts, who is the coach of Shanika Ricketts and another young lady who made it to the World Championship. Kerry Lee Ricketts coaches both of them, and he had an issue with not being selected as the jumps coach because, of course, the position is vacant. And before the World Championship, he made himself available, wrote to the J3As to let them know that he's available, and still the position remained vacant to this day. The ladies and gentlemen are there in Budapest and they're jumping without a distinguished jumps coach. This kind of politics should not happen.
Is there an issue between you and the J3As?
I don't have an issue with the J3s. I think the J3s have an issue with me.
To add insult to injury, we hear of all these things happening in the relay selection, where Maurice Wilson, the technical director to the Jamaican contingent to Budapest, has selected people for the 4x4 mixed relays. Of course, we know that did not go down well. And now there's a problem in the 4x1 men selection, where Taekwondo Tracy, who got himself into the position in the 100 meters at the trials to be selected to the relay pool. He was selected, but now he is being thrown out of the relay pool by somebody who did not make it into the pool by normal means. Now we know that currently the rules in the J3s allow them to select somebody if they ran a better time or something to that effect. But the problem with this little line is that these men and women are currently just men who are being selected are coached by Maurice Wilson, and that looks like favoritism, and it looks a little suspect that these athletes who are being brought in by these little hairline rules are his athletes. And you know that if my athlete makes money, I make money, which means he's not only looking out for these athletes, he's also looking out for himself. And that's how it looks, like he's making decisions based on personal preference and to line his own pocket. Now, let us slow down for a minute and wonder, if any other coach was there, would they not make the same decisions? Would they not want to look out for themselves and their athletes? I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it's time that track and field, it's time that Jamaica track and field elevate itself up to places where we can know that everybody who is anybody who are selectors, who are coaches for the Jamaican contingent are looking out for the country's best interest, for the best interest of who's good and who's right, who made it here fairly. We know how much bad selections can put a team into disrepute. I remember back to the days, I'm old enough to remember back to the days when they took Peter Gay Dowdy out of a 100-meter pool and replaced her with Merlin Otti. Who knows who Peter Gay Dowdy is nowadays? Because she wasn't given her 5 minutes of fame. We are old enough to remember back in those days, and we can't keep making the same mistakes. It doesn't matter who is there, the people at the J3A president, whomever is responsible for not choosing a jump coach, whoever is selecting these relay pool. Listen, at this point, when Jamaica is wanting to do so well, Jamaicans are striving to do so well, when Jamaican stakeholders are looking on with bated breath to see what medals we get, now is not the time to play. Now is not the time to play favoritism. Now is not the time for you to be looking out for yourself. Now is the time to be looking out for the best interests of the country. There are enough enemies of Jamaica out there than for us to be our own worst enemies. There are enough enemies out there. So people, get it together. Coaches, selectors, get it together. Make sure that the relay team you put out there get the job done, or else you know that everybody will be coming at you for your selection, for what went wrong, for the lack of cohesiveness. Mr. Taekwondo Tracy did about a 15-minute video explaining himself as to what happened with him not being selected for the relay pool and then being wanting to be hoisted off the Jamaican team and sent out of Budapest because he said something to Maurice Wilson that he deemed to be disrespectful. Now, this is too much. Other countries have their problems, but that's not something to copy. It's not something for Jamaica to take up. We are too small and we have too far to go for us to be doing these things and making these decisions. Now you tell me, you've listened to me enough. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you think it's favoritism, and tell me if you think the team that will be selected, if you trust the selectors enough, that you think they will do well. Let's see how they do. Walk, good people. I'll talk to you another time.